Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to the channel. I'm kind of excited to bring you this video today. I'm on right now, I'm using Linux Mint Debian edition and it runs the Cinnamon Desktop. But through a suggestion on one of my videos, I found out that you can actually install a different desktop. And it's called a Task, T-A-S-K. And I haven't installed that, made the plunge and installed that on my system as it sits right now. But I do have it set up in a virtual box, and I tried it, and it works just great. And that's what we're going to run through. So if you're using Linux Mint Debian Edition and you're using the Cinnamon Desktop, and you want to explore another desktop environment, this would be the way to do that. And once you select during your login screen, you'll see we can select what desktop. So if you don't like it, you can actually uninstall it, or you can just leave it there and leave the original, all that stuff there. We'll look at the size, if there how large the actual install, how much room it actually takes up to do this. So before we get started, let's open up the web page or browser here, and this is the wiki on debianwiki.org/task-select. Task-select provides the Tasksel package provides a simple interface for users who want to configure their system to perform a specific task. This program is used during the installation process, but users can also use Tasksel at any time. It gives you, I'll go ahead and run this in mine. This is there's a GUI way to do this, and then there's a command line way to do this. And the command is tasksel space -- list - task. We do that, you'll see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different tasks here. One interesting one for a laptop user might be this one right here. It brings in a lot of packages that they think may be necessary for a laptop to improve that user experience. But the one I'm interested in right here is Xfce Desktop. Now there is a difference, and we'll look real quick at the web page. There is a difference in, I'm going to say the Ubuntu Tasksel is a lot more extensive. It has over 30 options, where you saw here we have only these few, but that's fine for me because that's going to serve my purpose real well. This is the Debian one, and here is the Ubuntu. If you scroll down, you'll see the task descriptions. So here's all the options that you would have available in Ubuntu if you run Tasksel. And one of the reasons, or how I found this, was on one of my videos here. There's a couple comments on how I could actually change from Cinnamon, because that was my complaint, that I didn't know how to use. I wish they would provide an Xfce Desktop, but they don't specifically. But here, using this, as you'll see, we will be able to install Xfce. So let me bring up my virtual box. This is Linux Mint Debian Edition Cinnamon Desktop that I installed yesterday. Let's start this up. Linux Mint 5 LC. Hopefully it won't take too long to actually open up. Alright, so right now all we got is the Cinnamon Desktop, and we can see that if we click this arrow right here. All we have is the Cinnamon Desktop default X session. So I'm going to give it my password. Sign in. All right. I did updates yesterday, and I also installed the multimedia codecs, but let's go ahead and run this real quick. Close out of the welcome screen. System's up to date. I'm going to tell it to refresh just in case. And let's bring up a terminal. F-H. Let's see right now what's on this SDA2. It's a 30 gig virtual hard drive. We've used 7.5 gigs. Go down here. 7.5 gigabyte root directory. Cinnamon DE. Whoops. DE. Alright, let's save that. Minimize this, get it out of the way. And let's verify. I want to install a program here, and I want to install one on the newer Xfce Desktop and see if they make the transfer. And I think you'll find that they do. Let's see if Htop is installed by default. It is not, so let's install it. Sudo apt install Htop. Okay, so now we know we have Htop. Let's run it. And we're using 641 megs. I'm going to Q to quit out of that. Control L to clear the screen. Let's see if we can make it a little bigger here. So now if I run, let's see, task, select all by itself. Actually, let me cancel. Let me bring up another terminal. Let's run neofetch. Got ahead of myself. So this is Linux Mint Debian Edition 5 LC, and we're running the Cinnamon Desktop with the Mutter window manager. All right, so here's all I did was, did I use sudo? Permission denied. So let me up arrow, and let's go sudo. All right, now I'm going to choose the Xfce Desktop with the arrow key and then spacebar to select. Tab to OK. Press enter. And like I said, this is the GUI way of doing it. You can do the same thing in the terminal or console if you elect to do so. Take just a minute. This will depend on, a lot of it will depend on your internet speed, but it's already installing packages. So I'm assuming it downloaded them or else already had them. A lot of them. I'm interested to see if Cinnamon's going to bleed into Xfce and vice versa. That's one of the reasons I haven't made the actual plunge yet. But if this works and I use it for about a week to check it out, I will put it on the Linux Mint Debian Edition machine right now, and then I'll post that or update this. Task Xfce-Desktop. I think all I would have to do is just log out and then select the Xfce, but I'm going to reboot. That way everything gets put where it should be. All right, so let's just go. But wait a minute. Let's go df-h. And let's see. Now it says 7.8 gigs. Isn't that what it said before? 7.3. Okay, 7.8. So a half a gig. 500 megs. Save that. Minimize it. Let's reboot. Linux Mint Debian Edition. Okay, so click on that button. Now we have an Xfce session as well as the original 3. So let's click on that. Give it the password and press enter. And there's an Xfce Desktop. First steps and all that stuff. I'll go ahead and do that. The update should be fine. So we installed, first let me do this. Settings, display. Actually, the guest editions are installed, so I could just pull the screen where I want it. Let's do that. Maybe they're not. Or at least right now. My system is up to date. Thank you. If I get through here, let's run Htop, see if that made the transition. And there that is. It says we're using 575 megs, a little bit less. And let's run NeoFetch, which was installed by default. Linux Mint Debian Edition 5, Xfce Desktop Environment, Xfce 4.16 with the Xfce Window Manager. Nice. So let's install sudo apt install glances. And I'm pretty sure that's there. Yep. All right, so while this is getting through here, I want to point out a couple things. This is what looks like a default Xfce Desktop with the taskbar, application menu all at the top, the dock down at the bottom. So once you get this, you're going to have to customize it the way you want. So the first thing I always do is get rid of this dock down here. Where's the minus there? Get rid of that. And let's go back to panel 1. Let's unlock it. Pull it down to here. Make it bigger. Items. And also we'll find that the whisker menu is available already. So instead of doing that on camera here, we can see that that's what's happening. So we just installed Glances on the Xfce Desktop. It says we're using 911 megs of RAM. All right. Now this is Xfce Desktop. And right now this is your basic wallpapers that you would get. Let's go find user share. Scroll to the top, near the top, go to backgrounds, and there's our Xfce wallpapers, which unfortunately I'm going to choose one. But otherwise, the Linux Mint ones are right here, so you can select one of these. That's better than the rest of them. Oh, let me log out. Select Cinnamon Default. Give it my password. Nice. Start up screen. Let's open up a terminal. Got a little larger there. Glances. And there it is. So, in other words, one of the things I was afraid of is once I make the commitment to install Xfce Desktop on Cinnamon or on Linux Mint Debian Edition, that some of my programs would not go over and I would have to reinstall them, and I probably wouldn't find out until it was too late or I was in the middle of something. So now that we've got that installed, 7.9 gigs, that's what we said a while ago, I'm pretty sure. 7.8, so we gained one. 7.9 gigabyte. This is after. Oops. And this was after install Glances and Htop, which took up that little bit of extra there, I'm sure. 100 megs. That sounds right. Let me save that. So I guess that's going to do it for this video. Only I'm not going to end on Xfce. Let me end on, I'm not going to end on Cinnamon. Let me end up on Xfce where I wanted to be. Because after the video, I'm going to continue testing. Remembered my resolution there. First steps. The codecs is not here. The media codecs is not here. So everything that I installed on the Cinnamon At least in this experiment, the default, everything that's installed there is installed on the Xfce Desktop. And just because you install it on one doesn't mean you can't use it on the other. I'm not sure how fast things would build up. Personally, when I do make this plunge, I will select the Xfce Desktop and probably never look back. But, it's there if you do want to go back, and I forgot to lock this panel. There we go. Let's lock it. Okay. So let me power this off. Close out my VirtualBox. And let's go back to the main camera. So I'm excited about this step. I'm so proud that somebody commented and told me about this. And I sure do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if I wasn't leery about talking about people's names, I would just say who you are. But I did point out the link or the website there where I gained this access or information. And I sure appreciate it. I'm going to definitely keep using it in the VirtualBox. And probably within the next week, I will make the plunge. Nothing against Cinnamon, it works. Cinnamon's a great desktop. I just actually prefer my Xfce Desktop. Everybody has their own preferences. You know what they say about preferences or opinions. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Peace out. Take care of each other and be kind to yourself. Bye.